Welcome back to Campus View. For segment 3, I figured I hadn't introduced myself at all. So I am Connor. I am a strategic communications major. I'm a senior, and I'm also a member of the Ohio State Marching Band, where I am the head drum major, so the guy that wears the big old white hat and runs down the tunnel on game days. So for this panel, we are going to have the panel ask me questions about the marching band and the drum major position. So let's meet our third panel, starting on far side.
I'm Braden Moles. I'm a second-year journalism major.
Okay.
My name is Julia Ostrowski. I am a first-year marketing major.
My name's Sydney. I am a fourth-year journalism major.
She's back again.
My name's Owen. I'm a second-year journalism major.
Awesome. So let's start off. Does anybody have any questions pertaining to the marching band or anything that they want to know about the marching band?
What do you do in the off season?
What do we do in the off season? So for the marching band, you can either join the athletic band, which performs at basketball games, hockey games, anything that's not football. And then for the drum major position like myself, we have tryouts in April, so this is our training season to make sure that we are trying our best to stay in shape and stay in great form for tryouts that happen in April. Next.
How did you get into drumming?
So I saw my cousin practice drum major stuff when I was first born, and I thought it was really cool, so I started taking lessons and then worked my way up and was the drum major at my high school, and then came here and have been in the marching band for the past 4 years. So.
Before each time you step on the field, do you have any special routines or stretches you do?
Yeah, so game days are very long days. So it's really important to make sure I'm keeping my body fresh and making sure that I'm stretching out before games. The marching band has to report on game days 6.5 hours before kickoff. So for noon games, we have to get to the stadium at 6 a.m. Wow. And so while you guys are all sleeping in, we're at the band center just warming up and getting ready. So that's time for the drum majors to stretch out, make sure we're getting loose and getting our minds in the right place for a very exhausting game day.
When you're coming out on the field, what's the pressure like?
It's definitely a lot of pressure, especially when you're running down the ramp. First off, you want to make sure you don't fall, because that would be very embarrassing, right? But then one of the most famous things about the drum major position is the back bend they do. So when they run out and strut through the band, and then that's like the one moment where during the game day all eyes are on that specific thing. So bending over backwards and trying to touch your hat in front of 110,000 people can be a little nerve-wracking. But the adrenaline is honestly what pushes you through. As soon as you start running, you hear the crowd. It's just it's not like a sigh of relief by any means, but you kind of forget what you're doing at that point. You're just going through the motions.
Can you do the back bend for us?
The back bend for you.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the segment.
All right.
Let's answer some more questions
So how rigorous is the training and the practices? I mean, I know the entire campus hears you practice like throughout, but what is the training process like, and how long are practices?
Yeah, so the marching band practices Monday through Friday from 4:10 to 6:15 outside at the Lincoln Tower Park, right outside the stadium. That's typically where we learn our halftime shows. So we do a new halftime show every week. So that's when Monday through Wednesday, we're breaking it down, learning it. Thursday and Friday are kind of our performance-like days where we're repping it. And then for the band members, they have to memorize all their music. So outside of the 4:10 to 6:15 block, they're memorizing music, whether that be after band or before band, just to make sure that on Friday when they have their music checks, they're all good to go and they pass. In terms of training, the marching band can be pretty physically exhausting sometimes, especially on a 90-degree day when we're wearing full uniforms. So just making sure that we're all in the best of shape we can be, whether it be running laps, doing some cardio, anything to just keep in shape.
Is there a lot more excitement for games like Michigan and Penn State?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So one thing that we didn't get the chance to experience this year was a night game. Usually night games are the most amped up, whether that be because students have been preparing for the game all day, or just usually night games are typically the bigger games, so the atmosphere is a lot more electric. But for Michigan, that's the biggest game of the year. That's the game that everybody's going to be in the stadium. So definitely a lot more nerves for that game because there's a lot more eyes watching you. But lately with Penn State, those games are always always have been living up to the hype in terms of crowd and just games in general. So we always mark those games on our calendar, looking ahead like, oh, that's a game that we're going to look forward to. So.
How competitive is the drum major scene?
So it's kind of a smaller environment because to try out for drum major, you have to be in the drum major training row for a year, which is like our understudy of the program. So you have to do that our freshman year, and then so the spring of your freshman year, you're eligible to try out for the drum major position. So each year there's around 7 candidates that try out, and these candidates are your friends that you train with all year. So it's definitely it's a cutthroat scene, but at the same time, you wish the best for your friends.
How long have you been the drum major?
So my first year in college, I was on D row, the drum major training row, and then my sophomore and junior year, I was the assistant drum major. So the assistant drum major's role is leading. If there's 2 Script Ohios, they'll lead the other one. They perform at the end of each game during post-game, and then always march up front with the other drum major. And then this past year, my senior year, I was the head drum major, so the guy who runs down the ramp during pregame, performs during halftime, does all the big responsibilities.
So when you are learning not only the Script Ohio, but
Yeah.
all the other crazy stuff you do, like you guys did the flossing,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Who choreographs that? How do they even begin to teach you that?
So the directing staff designs all of our halftime shows. So for instance, the Flossing Zoe, which is like gotten tens of millions of hits on YouTube and Facebook and all that. Our directing staff comes up with these formations on a software, and from that software it gets transitioned to iPads, and everybody in the marching band gets an iPad. And so from there we have like digitalized formations that show where each person's going. So it's a new way of learning how to get into your position. And then in terms of Script Ohio, that is just a thing where you just have to know your counts. Because a lot of people think it's like a follow the leader, you're just following the person in front of you, but there's a lot of specific points where you have to be hitting to make sure like in the end it spells Ohio. So that's definitely one of the more, obviously the most like traditional thing that Ohio State marching band does, but it's also one of the more stressful things that we do.
How long does it take you to learn new formations? Is it different every single halftime show?
It depends on the difficulty of the formation, but the big thing is our practices throughout the week. So the most stressful thing is we have 1 week shows where we learned a new halftime show the week before, and so then on Monday morning we're learning a brand new halftime show for the game we're performing on Saturday. So Monday through Thursday we're like grinding away at learning how to chart our formations, where to go on the field, and then on Friday it's kind of our last run through to make sure that we know where exactly we're going.
Is it tough balancing drum majoring and school?
Yeah, so it's a huge time commitment, just like any athlete or anybody who's involved in a large organization, because we just have such a large time commitment during the week, but also on the weekends. On Saturdays, we're at the stadium for 16-ish hours. So it's hard to manage, but at the same time, it's a fun job to do.
Did you choose Ohio State because the famous band?
Yeah, this was the only school I really applied to, just because I wanted to be the drum major here. So it's definitely worth the experience, and obviously Ohio State's a great place. So.
You guys do those concerts like for like the kids? How are those?
Kids concerts are definitely cool. We bring in kids from all around Ohio to let them hear the marching band, and it's just a great experience. So thanks to you guys for asking questions about the drum major program and the marching band. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, the audience, for
Before we go, can you do the back bend for us?
Yeah, tuning into Campus View. I'll end with a little back bend if you want to get this. Okay, here we go. I'll do it this way. Oh man, I'm in some boots, so this might be a little tough. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.